Hey, it's me again. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna talk on tonight about Christian narcissists are very smooth talkers. Um, they're good at conversating. I mean, you could just sit there all day long and talk with them about just lies that they're telling you. But it's so convincing, and because you don't know that individual, you don't think that they're lies. But all it is lies. And when they're talking, you're just so mesmerized. And they have all of your undivided attention because you think that the words that's coming out of their mouth is truth. But there's no truth in it. They're very good conversationalists. But they're smooth and they're suave and they're debonair and they're the ladies' man. So when they see a lady, they're already on it. They're probably already lusting and looking at them with their eyes and trying to get eye-to-eye contact so they can make their move. And then they're over there sitting in your face telling you a bunch of lies, and it's just pulling you in. It's like a drawing. It's like, what's that word when it's kind of like you're being lured in? It's mesmerized. You're being hypnotized. Just from their talk. Because it sounds so convincing. And you think it's convincing because you've never met this person before. So you don't know that they're habitual liars. So you're believing every word that comes out of their mouth. And they may be married with 10 kids. But they're not wearing their rings. So these women are not. And the first words out of their mouth, well, I'm going through a divorce. So, blah, blah. Because in most cases, the woman wants to know, are you married? I don't see you have a ring on. Well, we're going through a divorce right now. I think that's their famous pickup line. I had a situation here, and this is real talk. This is a fact. My ex-husband was at a birthday party with some carnal brothers. I'm just learning how to call the spirits out. And I love them all, praying for them that they get to know Jesus for real. So he went to this birthday party with all these carnal brothers and didn't have his ring on, like I guess he normally didn't. He'd pull it off when he's getting ready to mac and talk to these women and act like he was single. But one of the young women there knew me. But he didn't know that she knew me. And so he's sitting at the table with her, and she's throwing her hair and flirting with him, and he's flirting with her, and he's talking, and she says this. Oh, hold up. I'm not one of those women that you can just get in my panties. And he looked at her, oh, no, I just, enjoy the conversation or whatever. And she said, they just talk, and she was like, he's real easy to talk to. And Christian narcissists are. They're very easy to talk to. And that's where it just draws you in because their conversation is good. It's good. But that's what lulls you in. And they just have your undivided attention. And when they see that they've lulled you in, it's like, oh, okay, I'm in for the kill now. So let me pour these lies on thick. So anyway, after she said that, they continued to flirt. And they kept talking, and then he gave his first name and maybe possibly his last name at that time. She said, oh, hold up, I know Sharon, are you? She was like, it shifted. The whole conversation shifted. And then he began to say how, well, we were going through some things and, blah, blah, blah. And so she called me up. And she apologized to me because she was like, I didn't know that was your husband. He did not carry himself as if he was even married. He did not have a wedding ring on. His conversation was that of a single man. like he was trying to get up with me. She was like, I just want to apologize to you. She was like, he's a very good talker. Oh yeah, he's a very good she's like, he's very smooth. But she came to me and she apologized to me. So I said all that to say this. When they're not around you and with others like-minded spirits that's carnal and fleshly and lusty, those people in that crowd, they're going to be able to see the real Christian narcissist. They're going to be able to see who that real individual is. But the crazy part is, they see the real deal, and instead of them making that person accountable because they know he over here playing church, it's like a good old boys club. Now they all doing it because they all married. But they looking up to this legion spirit or ancient spirit that was in my ex, and because he knew the word and knew how to carry himself and knew how to talk and knew how to speak, and they began to look up to his demons. So basically they were his kingdom, and he could do no wrong. My ex could do no wrong. While then they would all go to church and see him doing all this faking and shaking, but nobody would make him accountable because they were a part of his kingdom. And he was really influencing them from all the demons in him. He was influencing all these other little imps around him that built up his kingdom. So they all just faking it and shaking it. All hypocrites. All having a form of godliness and denying the power within. All being used by Satan. To the point that they're so blinded that you weren't even concerned about your own marriage. And maybe that it would fail because of you trying to be like my ex over here. It was crazy. None of it made any sense. So back to my thing. They are very smooth talkers to women. Okay? And before you know it, you're like hypnotized and waiting for the next word to come out of their mouth. Because you don't know that they're habitual liars. And they're just telling you what sounds good. They're just telling you what a woman wants to hear. All those sweet nothings because they're on an agenda. They have a hidden agenda. And if they can get you in the bed with them, and if they can get you where you're stroking them and telling them how good they are, hey, that's extra supply for them. While then they go back home and they treat their wives like crap. All under the mask of a God-fearing man. Devil, you is a liar. You're a liar. So we're out here to expose that demon. And to let the men and women of God know that Christian narcissists are not just men. It's women too. And they are blatantly, they're in our churches. They're sitting on the front rows. Looking and seeking whom they may devour. Who they may sift up. Who can I destroy? Who can I use? Who can I abuse? Who can I suck the life out of? Who can I kill? In the midst of my using. So then I can just go to the next one. So a Christian narcissist leaves a trail of bodies and stuff. Of people they hurt. Because why? Hurting people hurt people. And because a Christian narcissist don't know who they are and they're being used by the enemy, they're dangerous. They're dangerous. I hope something had been said, but remember, their words are as smooth as butter. But Absalom's words to King David was as smooth as butter too, but he tried to kill his father and tried to take his kingdom. Same thing for a Christian narcissist. They'll try and kill you and take your kingdom because they're jealous of you. They're very competitive. They're very intimidated. And heavens know if you got prophetic on you. You're really their enemy. Because they know that the prophetic people can eventually see who they are. So before you even have an inkling or figure out that you have prophetic, they're going to tear that down. They're going to talk it down. Because that's what my ex did. Oh, they say that everybody's supposed to be a prophet. And I don't believe in none of that. That's just mysticism. But the weird thing was, it wasn't weird. It all makes sense now. He liked it the dark side. He liked it those shows of called Snapped, and just people where they were killing people, and just dark-sided movies that dealt with demons. And he loved to do studies about demons, and so now it all makes sense. Because if that's what's dwelling on the inside of you, you're going to love that type of stuff. Because I would always say, why are you watching this? And this is so dark and twisted. But that's who he was. And I didn't realize that until down the road. But God's grace, love, mercy, and protection, it kept me. And I'm so grateful. So remember that. They're very smooth talkers. They're very smooth talkers. They probably can get your sisters or whatever. Before you know it, it's like they got them upstairs in the bedroom. That's how smooth they are. And they've been doing it for so long that they got it down pat. And we as Christians got to be on it. Women, you got to be on it. Otherwise, you're going to miss it, and you're going to get caught up in something that you don't even know how you got in. And then you're going to be trying to figure out how to get out of it, and you're not going to know how. Open up those spiritual eyes. Don't be so thirsty that you want a man that you don't really see who's underneath that mask or who that man really is. And that's where a lot of us miss it. And a lot of times they try and go for the ones that's young and naive. And the ones that they can twist and mold and shape and use, and ones that have a good heart, good morals. Because that's what happened to me. And I'm seeing the pattern now. So they like them young. So they can just get them out of the gate and start just changing them. Trying to change them. Breaking them down. Loving and hating them at the same time. All with that tongue. Where those words are coming out like smooth as butter. So it's kind of like they'll abuse you. And then they'll love on you. They'll speak down to you. And then they'll love on you. They'll tear you down. And then they'll love on you. They keep breaking you down. And then they'll love on you. But they never build you up. And how much of that can a person take before it starts to affect them? And their self-esteem. And who they are. It's going to start making you doubt who you are. Whose you are. What God created you to be, because you're up underneath that abuse 24/7. And don't even recognize it because you think this is the person that loves you. That stuff is demonic, straight from Satan, Lucifer himself. And we are here to shame the devil. Expose those demon spirits. Because I wouldn't wish anybody to have to go through what I came out of. And it was because God had his hands on me that I came up out of that alive. So as I'm talking and red flags are going up, take heed. Don't blow it off like, no, it ain't. I did the same thing. It ain't like that, you know. But if people are telling you that, and you're seeing that, there has to be some truth to it. See, the unfortunate side with mine, no one really ever came to me and told me. And I'm like, that was all demonic. Because I was in church. You think somebody in the church would have came to me and told me that? While he shamed me and embarrassed me and tore me down and lied on me. No, because he had the majority of the women in the church with their mouths hanging open. So everything I needed of him, he wasn't giving it to me. He was giving it to all these other women that he saw. The compliments, the building up, the encouragement. They got all that. I didn't get any of that. So he's walking around in church and the women just thinking that he is Peter Pan himself. He's always there to help. But he was neglecting his family. Because by that time we had at least one child in. Neglecting his daughter. Neglecting his wife. Neglecting his marriage. He had already checked out. Because he was over in the church looking for more supply. Because he needed people to stroke him. And tell them how good he smelled. And how good he looked. And how good he felt. And how good he talked. And how good he walked. So they love to talk. And they love for people to talk about how good they are. Because that's more supply that keeps those spirits on the inside of them built up. So if you're ever around one and they just love to talk and they're talking about themselves and they just, and I'm going to say this in closing. In church, for some reason, people in church are always, especially when it comes to brothers, especially the one, oh, you look so nice. Or the brothers like, oh, so-and-so, you look really nice. He ate that up. That's what he thrived for. Compliments in the church about how good he looked, how good he smelled, how good he walked, how good he talked. So, I'm not getting it from my wife, so I'll just get it from the church. So he made church his number one priority. While he neglected his family, his daughter, his marriage, he was at church. Prancing and dancing in front of all these women. Because I guess he felt like they were giving him more supply than his own wife was. So right out of the gate, I didn't even have a fair shot. I was competing against narcissism, pride, lust, fantasy, porno, right out the gate. I never even had a fair shot. I was competing against stuff I didn't even know I had to compete against. So that's all that I have. I pray that something was said. And until next time, I'm going to keep putting different things out there as I do my studies in the Word of God. And just give you information about that spirit. Because it's ratchet. And it's on a demonic abortive assignment. And whoever it can latch on to, or I'll say make their next victim, that's exactly what they're going to do. So you better bank. If you're in a relationship with one, they're not faithful. Because your supply is going to run out. Or they're going to get used to you and you're going to become old. So they're going to go find it from somewhere else. While you're sitting at home being the good old girl, they're out getting more supply from ratchet girls. And then you have to be prayerful that they don't bring some type of disease back to your bed and defile it. While they're trying to make you seem as if you're the crazy one. Because they'll try and do that. It's not you. It's not me. It's you. And they won't accept blame. It'll always be your fault. So keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Don't miss anything in this season. If you're in that situation, get on your face. Find out from God what your next move is. Because in most cases, when you're a good supply and they know you're a good person, they're not going to leave you. You're going to have to leave. You're going to have to leave them. They're not going to leave you. They're going to stay there and they're going to use you as much as you allow them to. They're going to stay there and suck the life out of you as much as you allow them to. They're going to stay there and shame you as much as you allow them to. And in their mind, it's going to be like, well, you deserve it. That's so cruel. But that's their thinking. Because I'm God, and whatever I need from you and yours, if I got to stump all over your head and leave you for dead, I'm going to do that. As long as I come up out of this looking good. That's their attitude. And that is straight from the pit. That's straight from Lucifer himself. And then you have no remorse. You have no I'm sorry. And even if you say I'm sorry, it's not genuine. Even though they turn on the tears, it's not genuine because they go back to doing exactly the same thing that they just apologized to you for. It's a sickness for real. And it's a mental sickness in these individuals that will literally take the life out of you spiritually, naturally, emotionally, financially, all the above. Till there's no life in you at all. That's all I have on this one. Until next time. And then if you have friends that's going through this, please have them to join this channel. And if you have questions, like I said, hit me up on Instagram or, well, instant message and Facebook. And I will make sure I get back with you and get those questions answered. Eventually, I'm going to do a live YouTube. I think I just said that on my last one, but I would like to start incorporating that so we can have a back and forth, a question and answer portion to include more people in. Because I know people have a lot of questions out there, and I may not be covering it at all, but I'm going to do my best to remember everything and to talk about that. So it'll be a blessing to you guys. Alrighty. Love each and every one of you. Until next time.